Welcome to the Quiet Hour.
Hey, welcome in, but geez, you caught me pooping my pillows. I don't even know why I care. Who's clapping? It's just me, as usual, arranging things as if the universe is keeping score. It's not, but apparently my ego is, because that's what egos do. They keep score, even when no one's watching, but especially when someone is watching. The ego is a master accountant, and it's constantly judging everything, measuring the world, and then stacking us up against it to see where we land. Are we ahead? Are we behind? Do we fit in? Where do we fit in? And what about that person over there, my BFF? How do we line up? Our egos are reflexively trying to regulate our nervous systems by protecting our identities or our stories, whatever they may be. And I admit, I may feel more comfortable in a curated home. I kind of do. But someone else may feel grounded in a space that's, I won't say messy, effortless. That's it. But identity runs much deeper than aesthetics. For example, some of us may try to protect the identity of the strong one, the one who's got it all together. That person may project strength even when they're hurting or when they're exhausted. No one sees their need because, well, they've got this. That's exactly what they projected. Another person may try to protect the easygoing identity, projecting flexibility, even though they may really care and may quietly long for something different. And in the same way, others protect stories and identities that were born in a harder season. Identities that may not be pretty. The needy one, the helpless one, the one who's always struggling. I know that person. The one who's always sick. Why? It's not attractive. It's because these identities have kept them safe or got them attention or made some sort of crazy sense from their suffering. We project what we're protecting, and we protect what once felt true, even if it no longer serves us. And it's not entirely our fault because we're swimming in a culture that hands us identities before we even know that we're wearing them. What we look like, what we do for a living, what we drive, where we live. And then there's the endless scroll, a curated parade of people telling us who to be, what to buy, what to eat, how to look, how to raise our children, how to live, how to be just like them. Well, the curated version of them. So much of what we see online is just that. It's the ego trying to feel real in a world that rewards performance over presence. Most aren't trying to harm us, but the machine they're a part of, it thrives on our insecurities and on theirs too. It feeds the ego and it starves the soul. The ego wants to be special. It needs to be special. And we all have egos. I do. Ask anyone living with me. We're all wired to seek coherence, to make our outer world match the stories we tell ourselves. This is how the ego regulates the nervous system, and it does, it works, but it doesn't restore us. Be honest with yourself. Where do you let your ego speak louder than your truth? How are you trying to defend the story you tell about yourself, even to yourself? The story that supports the identity that the ego built. And what happens when that story is no longer true? Or maybe it never was. What if that story collapses? What if we're absorbed in a story simply for the applause, because someone clapped or complimented us or wanted it for us and it just felt good, their approval? What if we're clinging so tightly to the identity, the story, that we lose sight of who we really are? Because we're so busy trying to prove who we think we should be, or who someone else thinks we should be. Or what if that identity is hurting us? Or worse for the ego, what if they don't clap? What if we're ignored or put down? What if we made a mistake and we were judged for it? What if, for just a glimpse, we're seen for who we truly are? We're vulnerable. Oh shit, they saw me. The ego freaking panics. Suddenly, we're scrambling, defending ourselves, overcompensating, over-explaining, shrinking, performing, or even lashing out. Anything to regain our identity. You know it right there that the ego's in control. We've lost the thread. We lose the truth, we lose ourselves. And this is the moment we hear a soft whisper from inside us that something's off. Because the ego can organize a life, but it can't fulfill one. It can protect us, but it can't free us. It can keep us coherent, but it can never, ever make us whole. The ego is necessary. It is. But the ego was never meant to be the driver. It was meant to be the tool. When the ego takes over, when it becomes the narrator of our stories, the protector, the performer, and the judge, we start living from the outside in by shaping ourselves around the applause, the expectations of others, our own fears. We start mistaking identity for essence. And that's when we lose ourselves, because the ego can't give us what the soul was born for. The ego can chase happiness, but only the soul can feel it. The ego can seek approval. Only the soul is fine, exactly how it is. The ego can even build a life, but only the soul can inhabit it. The key is not to kill the ego, and it's not to shame the ego. The key is simply not to let it overshadow the soul. The key is presence, because the soul is where your joy lives, where your steadiness lives. The soul is where spasta begins, that quiet, natural state of inner balance that doesn't need applause or performance to feel special. It just needs for you to come home. The soul is fed by aliveness, by truth, presence, and beauty. The soul, it gathers moments, tastes and textures, warmth and song, and it longs for the sound of your own life happening. It longs for the exact moment you're living in, no matter what that looks like. It doesn't care about the moment you're curating, what you're trying to prove, or what you're hustling to earn. This is why we pivot to the soul when we hear that whisper. The ego wants applause. The soul simply wants presence. Spasta is the place inside you that doesn't need to be special, because it's already whole. And here's the quiet miracle. When you live from the soul, joy stops being something you chase and becomes something you embody. The warmth in your chest, the softness in your shoulders, the ease that rises when you return to yourself. Joy isn't an achievement, it's alignment, it's presence, it's spasta, It's found in those quiet moments, the sacred ordinary ones that we overlook. The clouds shape-shifting in the sky as they pass overhead. The flower you pause long enough to actually smell. The way that light moves across the kitchen floor. A laugh shared with someone you love, not to feed the ego, but simply because it feels so good to be alive together. This is the path home, not the curated path, not the impressive path, but the path where you stay with yourself, your essential self, because that's where the joy lives, where the lightness and the laughter reside. And we all need a little bit of that. So let's release the ego's grip just a bit. How about we meditate? Take one slow breath with me and then continue in silence on your own, or join me for the full guided meditation. Spasta, the joy of coming home to yourself. It's in the link.